Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Brian P. Green, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Paul C. Messer, James Young Jr., Town Court. My name is Chris Chichester. This is the Freedom of Information Law. Dated this August 21st, 2026, which is Friday. I'm on here Friday morning. This will be mailed to you, I hope, before 9 a.m. Comply with the law. Here. You will refuse. There are 6 in here. I point to you with the official finger of Brooklyn, New York. And since corruption is predictable, the number you will comply with is 0. 1,000 times I wrote the Freedom of Information Law. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dorley complied twice. District Attorney Sandra Dorley was in office. Freedom of Information Law, dated this Friday, August 21st, 2026. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester for John P. Munzer, Jr. in Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information, District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information, Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas and Public Defender Julie Sianka. Send it to me. Freedom of Information Law, dated August 21, 2026. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester for Paul C. Messer, Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information, District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information, Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas. You have this information, $140,000 Public Defender Julie Sianka. Send it to me. Freedom of Information Law, dated this August 21st, 2026. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information, District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information, Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas. You have this information, Public Defender Julie Sianka. Send it to me. At $113,000, Perry Douglas, you paid overtime, time and a half. At $140,000, Julie Sianka, you paid overtime, time and a half. Open your mail, Public Defender Julie Sianka. When you start to send these envelopes back to me, I'm going to send what you send back to me to Monroe County Legislature, every single member of Monroe County Legislature. Freedom of Information Law, you have this information, District Attorney Brian P. Green. You have this information, Michelle Crowley, the District Attorney's Office. You have this information, Perry Douglas, the District Attorney's Office. Freedom of Information Law, dated this August 21st, 2026, Friday. Information about the grand jury convened by District Attorney Sandra Dorley to Todd Christopher Chichester. That is 1, the day, year, and month the grand jury is convened. 2, decide District Attorney's Office employee to address the grand jury. 3, the witnesses that testify to the grand jury. 4, the vote of the grand jurors. 5, a transcript of the grand jury proceeding. Send me that information. You have it. Todd Baxter, you have my money. Because I was violently attacked by Richard Seaton at the Penfield Public Library. I had $61.39 in my pocket. Send me that check. I had a check that expired because I would hold it up here on YouTube and say, I have this check because I was violently attacked by Richard Seaton at the Penfield Public Library. So, the issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester, the address below for an expired check, the amount of $61.39 from the County Monroe Office of Sheriff Inmate Fund account. That's the dollar amount in the pocket of Chichester. We violently attacked the Penfield Public Library, 75 for Richard Seaton, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This sheriff is in the embrace of violence. When I get the payroll, acquire the payroll again, Richard Seaton is going to be paid $85,000 or $90,000. And it does not matter that I contacted him on July 15, 2023, July 15, 2024, July 15, 2025, July 15, 2026, saying he violently attacked me. Doesn't matter to him. Because Sheriff Todd Baxter is the blue wall silence for 7594 Richard J. Seaton. You have this information. Paul C. Messer and James Young Jr. in Town Court. Send it to me. Freedom of Information Law, dated this Friday, August 21, 2026. The quote, effective documents and quote for the case of Dan DeLance, third in Town Court for John P. Munzer Jr. This corrupt psychopath old man judge released Daniel DeLance III. He does not recuse himself from the appearance of Daniel DeLance III in Town Court, even though he knows the family. Wow, disgusting little room. So, 3 years ago, on August 21, 2023, you see it right there, I contacted you. Are you confused about what I'm demanding 3 years ago today? And you are, because you're corrupt, because you're malignant. So, hideous. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dolly, Judge Alex Renzi, as I am now at 5 minutes. I just told you 5 minutes to tell me who it is. So, 3 years ago today, August 21, 2023. There's all your emails here. I'll look for you, Perry Douglas. There's James Finley Jr., and there's John Pilomenzo Jr.'s Outlook mail.com that I found online. And there's you, Perry Douglas, right there. So, there's your name. You just blow me off when you have this information. August 21, 2023, Todd Baxter, Sheriff 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York, 14604. Sandra Dolly, District Attorney, 47 South Street, UC Rochester, 14604. Apply with attached for the information or documentation dated August 21, 2023. Mail the names of my process, house, the address, below on Park Avenue. I've been in jail 6 times in innocent man, 6 times process, not talked in court. That's insane. You psychopaths have convicted me on paper with lies. YouTube hideous on Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dolly, Judge Alex Renzi. YouTube reverse on Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dolly, Judge Alex Renzi. YouTube heinous on Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dolly, Judge Alex Renzi. High prosecutor Science 401, Penfield Court Judge John Pilomenzo Jr. 2, Penfield Court Judge Paul C. Metzer. 3, New York State Supreme Court Judge Alex Renzi. 4 criminal complaints notarized by Crystal Price, the Rochester Public Library on July 21, 2023 are attached in PDF. The 5th criminal complaint attached to PDF notarized by Christopher Price, Rochester Public Library on July 27, 2023 is for 73312 Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee Michael Houlihan. He lied under oath. This cop freak will continue to concoct crimes for innocent citizens. 5, this cop freak Houlihan, Sheriff Baxter. You each received criminal complaints via registered mail return receipt. You received this email 5 PDF attached with registered return receipt. You refuse to comply with the law because you're corrupt. You refuse to comply with the law because you're corrupt. Exactly right 3 years ago today. So, here's my language here from 3 years ago today. That's the Lomenzo foil for the prosecutor. Is that Julie Hahn or not? Because I know what she looks like. And I know what Julie Hahn looks like. In Monroe County Court, on Monroe County Court, 17% of the vote, she's defeated. A joke. When I start to contact the New York State Legislature, this is one of the documents I'm going to send to New York State legislators saying defeated judges like Alex Renzi, he's not a defeated judge, it's 25%. Defeated judges should not be on a court. And a judge with a percentage as low as Alex Renzi, 25%, should not be on a court. I was sitting next to Squawk Box when I was in New York State Senate staff, when I worked in the press office for then Senate Majority Leader Ralph Marino. Bill after bill after bill when I was a young man. I never heard anything on the Senate floor about one judge determining guilt or innocence in court. And that's something that I should have never dismissed. And I didn't even consider, when I was listening to the Squawk Box, the immense power that town judges can have over a citizen where there is no jury of 12. There was no table for a defense attorney. There was no table for a prosecutor. There's no witness box at all. So, documentation for the case of Alex Renzi right there is 3 years ago today. I'm telling you, 3 years ago today. This is because of Michael Houlihan. There's that August 21st, 2023. 3 years ago today. Paul C. Metzer, John P. Metzer Jr., Alex Renzi. It's in there. What do you not understand? So, defective documents for the case of Daniel Glass III. Paul C. Metzer, James Finley Jr., you have files that are electronic or paper files at Penfield Town Court. You have in there the case of Dan Glass III, who is a defendant, who knows John P. Metzer Jr. Do you not have these so-called defective documents or not? What's the answer? Is the answer you don't have documentation for the case of defendant at Penfield Town Court? Or is the answer is you have that documentation, you're not going to send it to me? So, August 21st, the defective documents for the case of Dan DeLaus III in Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzer Jr. Paul C. Metzer, James Finley Jr., give me your ages. Can you see that language right there? What's not to understand? The defective documents for the case of Daniel DeLaus III in Penfield Town Court before John P. Metzer Jr. sent it to me. There was the Office of Court Administration in Albany, New York. And of course, there's the United States Department of Justice. And I'm going to contact both of these governmental bodies. Sheriff Todd Baxter, I'll tell you where you can send Richard Seaton to violently attack me. I'm going to tell you where I am. Sheriff Todd Baxter, here I am. 270 on East with the freak show of South Union Street, where RPD and MCSO doesn't enforce any track laws, nothing about public intoxication. Laws are not enforced. Traffic laws are not enforced. Public intoxication laws are not enforced. So this is where I am, Sheriff Todd Baxter. I'm going to go out for my run every morning at 8 a.m. Send Richard Seaman over here. Tell him to wait for me on South Union Street. Run at me, slam me in the head. I'll fall down. My head off the concrete pavement. This is called violence that you embrace. You, Sheriff Todd Baxter, are the blue wall sounds for Richard Seaman. So, the criminal complaint for him was sent on August 19th. Right here, 2 days ago. I sent the criminal complaint for Richard Seaman, which you're going to ignore. What's the status? August 19th, 2028. What is the status of the criminal complaints? It's real easy to understand. What is the status of 5 criminal complaints I wrote for Richard J. Seaman, A. Ross Shaw, Layla Kumar Shah, Laura Riley, Antonio Sparrow, Michael Houlihan? July 22nd, 2023. Richard Seaman and Malignant sheriffs walked into the sheriff's office, walked into the Penn Public Library in Penn, New York, ran Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm to the head of Chichester, causing him to fall backwards and his head on the ceramic tile floor. 2. Nayrosh Sean Layla Kumar Shah, 2033 Penn, New York. False report incident Christopher Chichester, falling 26 Sandstorm Drive, is walking through a parkland next to his residence. Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York, locked the front and back doors of his residence, 26 Sandstorm Drive, Penn, New York, without a court order. 4. Laura Rye Webster, transferred the person belonging to Christopher Chichester, 26 Sandstorm Drive, Penn, New York. Webster, New York, without a court order. I go on here. These are crimes. These are crimes, which Sheriff Todd Baxter ignores because he's corrupt, because he's a freak, because he's a psychopath, because he's a fanatic, because he's a degenerate. That's why. Law's a joke to him. Law's meaning his words on paper. Here is Richard Seaman. That's the language that I just read. What I'm saying, this freak cop violently attacked me. I'm swearing that he violently attacked me, denoting Christopher Price at the Monroe Branch, the Rochester Public Library on Monroe Avenue. I'm saying Nayrosh Shah, Layla Kumar Shah, falsely reported me walked through a park that I've walked through 4,000 times in Penn, New York. 4,000 times. That means Shannon Meyer, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, this Kool-Aid drinker that works for Todd Baxter, thinks I'm New York's 4,000-time criminal. Warrant for my arrest for park that I've walked through 4,000 times. That means I've committed that crime 4,000 times. Lunatic fringe. That's what she thinks. Employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Perry Douglas, District Attorney Brian P. Green, Michelle Crowley, Michael Harrigan. That's what Shannon Meyer of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office thinks. You know what Todd Baxter replied to Shannon Meyer thinking I'm New York State's 4,000-time criminal? The blue wall sounds. So, Antonio Spano locked the back door and locked me out without a court order. It's so obvious that's a crime. This 80-year-old man in Fairport, New York, who speaks broken English. I'm in the process of contacting Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to see if Antonio Spano is in the United States of America legally, which I'm in the process of doing after Nayrosh Shah, Layla Kumar Shah, Penn, New York. There I am right there. I'm saying that this old man locked me out without a court order. It's as obvious as it gets. It's the most obvious one, I believe. Laura Riley, Webster, New York, transport the person belongs to Christopher Chichester for 26 Sandstorm Drive, storage locker, without a court order right there. Can you see the law in the state of New York, Todd Baxter? I'm telling you, it's the law in the state of New York. This is happening when I don't know about it. So, Michael Houlihan of Monroe County Sheriff's Office, District Attorney Brian P. Green, lied under oath. Is it your standard practice, Mr. District Attorney, not to call the target of a grand jury to testify? Because that's what happened to me with your Kool-Aid drinker, Michelle Crowley. Mr. District Attorney, are you listening to me now at 14 minutes? Because I'm going to put this down on paper. But you could decide if you listen to me now at 14 minutes, you're going to contact me. Is it your standard practice at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office when a grand jury is convened that the target of the grand jury that is subject to indictment is not called to testify, not interviewed? There's no communication whatsoever from the Monroe County District Attorney's Office when a grand jury is convened about the target of that grand jury that will be indicted. Is that the official policy or not, Mr. District Attorney Brian P. Green? And what I'm going to hear from you is total silence. So, the grand jury that Michelle Crowley convened for me is because of this cop-free Kool-Aid drinker, Michael Houlihan. Text criminal claim for perjury 73312 Michael Houlihan of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Quote that 73302 Michael C. Lynn, the Malignant Sheriff's Office, walked onto private property, cost of residence $2,600 for run drive in Pembroke, New York. Christopher Chichester, who ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 down Benedetto of the Sheriff's Office. Chichester ran away from Houlihan and Benedetto. One of the identities. At Chichester grabbed a hammer alongside his residence next to his bike used to fix a bike tire. As Chichester placed his foot on the first police steps back porch, Houlihan grabbed his arm. The hammer Chichester stands forced upwards. Chichester ran through his back porch, ran through sliding glass door, and Chichester never stopped running. His pops swing the hammer, 733 to Michael Lynn. As Chichester never stopped running, District Attorney Brian P. Green, it's impossible to swing a hammer at 73312 to Michael Lynn. What do you not understand, Mr. District Attorney? Not a miracle on earth where I can continue to run and swing a hammer at someone. That's impossible. That would be a miracle. Someone who continues to run away from someone and can swing a hammer at the person in pursuit and hit that person with the hammer. That's a miracle. Am I wrong, District Attorney Brian P. Green, or not? Because the Catholic Church canonizes its saints and has official miracles. Are you not aware of this, District Attorney Brian P. Green? And your faith is none of my business. But that is my faith. So I know about official miracles. And I know about how saints are canonized. And it would be an official miracle, Mr. District Attorney Brian P. Green, if I'm running away from Michael Houlihan and he's in pursuit of me, and I could turn and swing a hammer at him and strike him. So, hi, baby. This is where I am. 270 on East. Some Richard Seaman over here. Tell him to violently attack me. I now know I could take a beating, Sheriff Todd Baxter, because of you. That's not an exaggeration, because I've been violently attacked over and over and over because of what you have done to me with your Jonestown, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So, I'm really glad I'm here in a number of ways because Brighton Securities was here because I have money that's being returned to me because I was a state employee for the majority leader and governor in Albany, New York, where I was not a 20-year employee, so that money's coming back to me. And then I was a U.S. House and U.S. Senate staffer in Washington, D.C. So Brighton Securities came here, and this was really great. And the reason why I mention it's not for narcissism. It's to say that I have money coming here. And if I had money, there's not one goddamn day in jail. Perhaps I would have been in jail. When I say there's not one goddamn day in jail, it's not a jail sentence. I would have been out right away. Because my attorney absolutely would have been qualified and capable to make the argument. He hasn't committed a crime. Prosecutor talk in court. You're just going to keep him in there because of one corrupt cop and one corrupt judge? A terrific attorney can make that argument to get me out of jail. Livingston County Jail in Genesee, New York, and Monroe County Jail in New York. And why I had around the incompetence of the public defender's office, which I had yet to conclude that it was the incompetence. Because all they are deal makers that are in fear of the district attorney's office. That's the entire public defender's office. Julie Sianka, Mark Phillips, Regina Harper, in fear of the district attorney's office, every single employee at the district attorney's office. So the reason why I mention this, when I say it's not for narcissism, it isn't. This 12 Corners in Brighton, New York, is an insane freak show of driving. And if you go to Facebook, like with Nikki Rudd's Facebook page, or other Facebook pages in Monroe County, when I see a traffic accident, there's a memo I wrote about Todd Baxter, how he doesn't enforce traffic laws. Just like when you hear these vehicles out here on South Union Street, he's not in Rochester anymore. They're speeding, tailgating, U-turns, and most importantly, driving while intoxicated from that parking lot from hell at the corner of East Avenue and South Union Street. And Todd Baxter's not in there. This is why I mention this. So this terrific employee here at the Wade Group, at Brighton Securities, Ethan Wade, he was like an encyclopedia about financial instruments, personal finance, the market on Wall Street. I was in awe of listening to him talk about personal financial security, financial literacy. And this is Veterans Financial Literacy Seminar. This was only for veterans here where I am at 270 on East. This is why I mention this. When I say it's not for narcissism. So I have this thing here. When I go to 12 Corners in Brighton, where I have been to 12 Corners more than 500 times, okay, it could be 1,000 times. Because when I lived at 275 Park Avenue, where I was locked out by more properties, I'd walk down Oxford Street, then I'd get to Monroe Avenue, and I'd walk down Monroe Avenue to 12 Corners. And Starbucks used to be there. And I'd have a Starbucks there and do a few other things. And then I'd walk down Elmwood Avenue to go to Brighton Memorial Library. And I noticed the first week I'm going there, like I said, 500 times, 1,000 times, over and over and over, been there at 12 Corners. I noticed when that school is there. There is an elementary school that when the children are released from 12 Corners Elementary School, the crossing guards are there. The speeding that goes on at that 12 Corners on Monroe Avenue and Elmwood Avenue is really mind-blowing, and how dangerous it is. So I've been going down there for about 6 months. I see the crossing guards. I occasionally talk to these crossing guards, who I think they're all retired. So I'm standing there, and I see this one man with gray hair, and he's older than me. He's about 70. And I asked him a question. I already knew the answer. I say to him as I'm standing next to him, and we had talked before, how would you describe the drivers down here at 12 Corners? And he said in a loud voice immediately, they're crazy. And I was trying not to laugh, because there's nothing funny about these drivers at 12 Corners and the children. Some of these children have emotional self-control problems because they're screaming and yelling at each other. They're being told to leave at the time at Starbucks. The pizza place there would not sell to these minors. The CVS there has kicked them out because they have these hyperactivity and attention deficit problems. And also at the library, they've been told to leave the library. And when I say they're in groups of 5, 6, 7, 8. I've never seen elementary school children, I have nieces that were this age, behave this way. They are constantly screaming and yelling at each other, these children, which I'm confident that they're in some type of juvenile justice program, because 2 of these children mugged another child who, after he was attacked, ran into the Federal Express that I'd been into 1,000 times. This Federal Express here, this is why I tell you, as employees, district attorney's office, I'm trying not to get off topic here, but I'm going to soon start to find out and write the Freedom of Information law about minors arrested by Todd Baxter, because perhaps you've heard the names Adria O'Reilly and Xavier Perry. This Federal Express employee, after I seen the hyperactivity attention deficit, which is now a thing that I'm totally embraced with, that I believe exists, I see these minors yelling and screaming, being told to leave this pizza business, being kicked out of Brighton Memorial Library, the hyperactivity when they're together screaming and yelling at each other. I was just over there, and there was about 10 of them, school's not in session, where they're screaming at each other. There's no behavior like that for me when I'm 10, 12, 14 years old, or any of the boys on my block ever. Not one time is there anything like this. This is why I mentioned this to you about the state of juvenile justice. So I talked to the FedEx employee, who was really terrific. Her and I would talk all the time. And so then we just started to talk about these minors. And she told me that one minor ran into a Federal Express to get away from 2 other minors because they were attacking him and trying to steal his book bag. And this boy, she said to me, was in total fear. And I'm not going to disclose anything else too. But what she was telling me about the state of mind of this boy and what was happening in the Federal Express is really heartbreaking. And I'm not trying to be hysterical and ridiculous the way she was telling me this. And that's just because of these minors that have no self-control, that are screaming and yelling at each other. And minors like this, where I'm thinking, are they committing criminal acts? What are they doing here, these minors? My exact thought when I see them screaming and yelling at each other over and over and over is, how many of these minors are juvenile criminals that are not violent? And how many of these minors can be violent, like Xavier Perry and Adria O'Reilly? And then when she told me about this crime where this boy was attacked and assaulted, and it was really difficult to listen to, because she had more details than I'm going to disclose here. Doesn't that concern you? This is another reason why I mention this, because these same minors have these hyperactivity problems, ADHD or something like that, who are at 12 Corners, where Sheriff Todd Baxter isn't, will run right in to Monroe Avenue, Elmwood Avenue, because they have no self-control, and because he's not there policing the traffic. There are cars going 40, 50, 60 miles an hour right through 12 Corners. Todd Baxter's never once been in 12 Corners. I've been there 1,000 plus times, 500 times. I don't even know how many times. It's hundreds of times, I'll just say, because I believe in the precision of language. Hundreds of times I've been in 12 Corners. Now, one time have I seen a Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle with Todd Baxter, which means he never enforces traffic laws at 12 Corners, when retired crossing guards can explain to him in detail how the drivers are psychopaths and freaks, just like out here on South Union Street. Sheriff doesn't enforce traffic laws because he's a psychopathic freak who's unleashing technology on me and lying about it because he knows he can lie about it. January 16, 2023, Todd Baxter, Sheriff 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York. This photographs why you're a fanatic. This photographs why you're an extremist. This photographs why you're a liar. This photographs why I know the name of your $67,000 disgusting shadow mine. This photographs why people hate the police. I've been on this thing. Your subordinate, $140,000 Julie Sianka, sent me the images. I've been on this fucking thing, you bald-headed, skin-headed fascist Todd Baxter, Sheriff of Monroe County. Can you see it? It is right there. Do you not know what this is, Sheriff Todd Baxter? That's a camera. And because I use the word surveillance device doesn't make me mentally ill. But you think that's the case at the sheriff's office. I'm not going to talk about what happened to me when I'm using this phrase. The public defender's office in the person of Regina Harmer sent me the images of me on this fucking thing. You bald-headed, skin-headed fascist Todd Baxter. Corruption requires repetition. So, Todd Baby, 270 on East. Send Richard Seaman over here to violently attack me, slam me in the head. Send Michael Houlihan over here. Michael Houlihan can tell you that I chased him with a hammer. I'm trying to swing a hammer. I'm telling, send him over here, Todd. So, I just sent this to Michael D. Giacomo on August 17th. He replaced Trini Ross as United States Attorney. The criminal complaints, he'll see it. That I'm telling you to tell me what the status of the criminal complaints are. Here you are, Julie Sianka. There's your name right there. You know the names of my prosecutor's files. Who is here? This is Perry Duckles right here. Are you blind, Perry Duckles? Are you illiterate? Can you not see your name? This is on. Sometimes the person that signs it doesn't date it, but Scott, somebody signed for this, and it doesn't have the date on here, just like this doesn't have the date. Todd Baxter. Who's asking that? Was Todd Baxter. Todd Baxter. June 16th. 2 months ago, June 16th, Todd Baxter. I sent the criminal complaints to him. June 16th. Can you see it? There's nothing from him. Over and over, I'm telling him to arrest these criminals. I'm telling you, Michelle Crowley, there's your name right there. About how you convene this grand jury that I don't know was convened. You, Megan Hauser, believe you to local courts. You can tell me the names of my prosecutors, right, Megan Hauser? What are the names of my prosecutors, Megan Hauser? Jennifer Kennedy. What are the names of my prosecutors, Jennifer Kennedy? You know, right? So over and over, I'm telling you, disclose information. The local courts bureau, Monica O'Brien. Are you in there before James Fumley Jr. and Paul C. Metzer? Monica O'Brien at the local courts? What do you think of that room? Do you, Monica O'Brien, know? There's no jury box for jury 12. There's no witness box for witness testimony. There's no table for a prosecutor to sit at. There's no table for a defense attorney, public defender to sit at. Monica O'Brien of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. As you understand a courtroom, is Penfield Town Court a courtroom? Because New York State Supreme Court that I've been in because of perjurer Michael Houlihan is definitely a courtroom. These power-consumed judges on these little courts, these little tiny star chambers, can smash you into a million little pieces. Does that concern you, Monica O'Brien, or not? It should always. So, telling you over and over and over. Disclose the names of my prosecutor's files. You're refusing every single time to send me this information that you have in your possession. And why is that? It's a total disgrace. How you're refusing to send me information and your financial disclosure. Todd Baxter, you're a car salesman. Do you know that, Todd? So which means you have money in addition to being the Monroe County Sheriff. You are a car salesman, Sheriff Todd Baxter. So car salesman, Sheriff Todd Baxter, how much are you paid for selling cars? I really want to know. Which is what I'm trying to play here for you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, being a car salesman. You know what I'm talking about, District Attorney Brian P. Green? About the car salesman of Monroe County? Where's your personal financial disclosure, Paul C. Metzer, James Fumley Jr., Penfield Town Court? Where's your personal financial disclosure, Sheriff Todd Baxter?